For the first time in nearly 150 years, the GOP-led House is heading toward the impeachment of a cabinet official. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas is firing back at House Republicans. NTD's Melina Wisecup joins us now live from Capitol Hill, where she's been talking to lawmakers. So, Melina, what are some of those members of Congress saying at this time?
Steve, Democrats are trying to push the message that this is an act on Republicans' behalf to try to comply with former President Trump's demands, but Republicans say this is their last resort to try to force the federal government to enforce current immigration laws. Republicans keep pointing to the sheer numbers alone of those record-high illegal crossings. Just in December, for example, we saw 300,000 illegal crossings. Now, at the same time, we're talking about 2 articles of impeachment they're filing against Alejandro Mayorkas right now. One piece of this accuses Mayorkas of failing to enforce those current immigration laws. Another piece is more contested. They accuse Mayorkas of not complying with Congress's demands on this issue. Now, Democrats say that these articles of impeachment lack evidence. Take a look at what they said.
They don't have any witness who said that there was bribery, treason, or high crimes or misdemeanors that were committed.
He's breaking the laws Congress has passed. It says shall detain. He's not doing that. In fact, he's turned it upside down, created policies that speed people into the country. I have a duty to do what's right, so I'll do it anyway, even if we don't pass it on my side of the aisle.
Now, Mayorkas has responded to these articles of impeachment against him today, saying, "I assure you that your false accusations do not rattle me," saying that he's provided lawmakers with hours of testimony and records to demonstrate his efforts to secure the border. Steve?
So, Melina, some Democrats are brushing this off as a political stunt. What do they say is the cause for this record-high illegal crossings that we're seeing at the southern border?
So we asked a few Democrats just exactly this question to get their take here, because this is really the heart of the issue of why Republicans want to file these articles of impeachment against Mayorkas and why they've been so harsh on the Biden administration. Democrats push back with a number of different arguments. They say that there are economic fallouts around the world. They say that there's an asylum backlog, so we need to update our immigration law. They also attribute it to a lack of resources that Congress has sent the DHS. One very vocal critic that's been speaking out during this hours-long hearing, Congressman Dan Goldman, told me exactly what he thinks about the matter. Watch.
Some numbers that is more reflective of migration patterns, of crumbling governments, of climate destruction, of corruption, of violence, not only in Central and South America, but around the world.
Now, as for these articles of impeachment, Steve, that House committee is still at this moment marking up these articles of impeachment. They've been in committee since 10 a.m. this morning. Democrats are really trying to drag this thing out as long as they can and push back as hard and as strong as they can. But once it does leave committee, it will go to the full floor for a vote, where Speaker Mike Johnson says he wants to see a very quick vote, even though he's working with a very razor-thin majority. Steve?
NTD's Melina Wisecup with a live report from Capitol Hill. Thank you, Melina. Amid efforts to impeach one of his cabinet members, President Biden today says he's done everything possible to tackle that immigration crisis. But House Speaker Mike Johnson isn't buying it. NTD's Arian Pazdar has a border update.
Texas still showing no signs of following requests from the Biden administration to vacate Shelby Park in Eagle Pass. This comes as 26 attorneys general sent a letter to the Biden administration on Monday. They write, "What you should do is simple: enforce the law and protect the border. If you cannot bring yourselves to enforce the law, get out of the way so Texas can." On Tuesday, Fox News asked President Biden if he could do more to secure the border.
That's not all I can do. Just give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work right.
House Speaker Mike Johnson responded to Biden's comments, saying he's either lying or misinformed. He says Biden could restrict entry, start expedited removals, mandatory detention, and more. And as Texas continues to install fencing, illegal immigration keeps increasing in California. Fox News reports that Border Patrol's San Diego sector apprehended over 1,300 illegal immigrants on Monday alone. 160 of them are Chinese citizens. And part of a trucker convoy departed Florida on Tuesday morning. They're heading to Louisiana. Truckers from across the country are scheduled to hold rallies in cities along the border on Saturday. And the city of Denver has become the latest city struggling to support all arriving immigrants. NBC News reports that the city is now limiting the days immigrants can spend at city shelters. And a city hospital is reportedly asking for $10 million to cover unpaid medical bills for immigrants. The city's mayor says that he will need $100 million throughout the year of 2024 to support all arriving people. Ariane Pastar, NTD News.
President Biden is responding to questions on that drone attack that killed 3 U.S. troops in Jordan. He says he's decided now how to respond to that attack.
Yes. I do hold them responsible in the sense that they're supplying the weapons to the people who did it.
Biden added that he doesn't think the U.S. needs a wider war in the Middle East. The president today spoke with the families of the 3 service members killed in that attack. He also plans to attend the dignified transfer of their remains at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware on Friday. The White House said the president pledged full assistance to the families as they grieve. 2 anonymous officials cited a preliminary report on that drone attack. It reportedly said that U.S. forces may have mistaken an enemy drone for an American one and let it pass through unchallenged. That's why there was no effort to shoot down the enemy drone that hit the outpost. Democratic Congresswoman Cori Bush says the Justice Department is investigating her over potential misuse of campaign funds on personal security services. The lawmaker made a statement in front of the Capitol this afternoon.
Since before I was sworn into office, I have endured relentless threats to my physical safety and life. As a rank-and-file member of Congress, I am not entitled to personal protection by the House and instead have used campaign funds as permissible to retain security services. I have not used any federal tax dollars for personal security services. Any reporting that I have used funds for personal security is simply false.
Bush is a member of the group of House progressives dubbed the Squad. She's denied any wrongdoing and said she will fully cooperate with the investigation. A day prior, the Justice Department subpoenaed the office of the House Sergeant of Arms for related documents. Bush said the allegations focused on her decision to pay her now husband with campaign funds to provide a security detail. The Federal Elections Commission, FEC, and the House Ethics Committee are also probing her campaign. In a previous probe, the Office of the Congressional Ethics cleared Bush of any wrongdoing. A summit in D.C. bringing together lawmakers from both sides of the aisle, shedding light on the CCP's persecution of people of faith. That's as experts tell NTD that Beijing's long arm is reaching the U.S. in different ways. NTD's Iris Tao reports.
And key voices in Washington speaking out on the right to believe.
You fight for religious freedom. You're laying a foundation for a more free and prosperous future for all mankind.
In the spotlight of the 2024 International Religious Freedom Summit is the Chinese Communist Party's persecution of human rights.
They've been at war with the Uyghur Muslims, with the Christians, with Falun Gong. This is a regime that is completely opposed to the ideas that the United States has, and we need to confront them.
They've been publishing the speeches of President Xi, not just in English and French and things, but in Swahili and other things. So they're spreading an ideology.
And China in recent years has been ramping up its propaganda and surveillance targeting the United States and prompting Washington to take action. And a new report details how the CCP is exporting its censorship to the U.S. through suppressing an American performing arts company called Shenyun, which shows audiences around the world China before communism.
Part of what Shenyun does, in addition to reviving traditional Chinese culture, is telling the story of modern-day religious persecution. And the CCP really does not want this story to be told. It feels that it's undermining its efforts, and that's really why it's gone to great lengths to cancel these performances.
House Speaker Mike Johnson and a few other lawmakers from both sides of the aisle will speak at this summit on religious freedom on Wednesday. Reporting in Washington, D.C., Iris Tao, NTD News.
China before communism. That's the tagline of Shenyun Performing Arts, a classical Chinese dance performance that aims to highlight the beauty and virtue of traditional Chinese culture. Shenyun will be performing at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. this week from Wednesday through Sunday. Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.